Rain from above. I'm 50 years old, STBX is 54. Married 17 years, 2 teens at home. I've lived my entire life responsibly. I studied in school, went to college and grad school. I've had good jobs my entire life. I've got a well-paying job now that I hate every day for 60+ hours per week. But, at any other job, even in my same company, I'm looking at a 50% pay cut, at least. For a job I wouldn't hate, probably 75%. My STBX wanted to be at home when the kids got home from school. So, she worked out of the house as a mortgage processor, contractor, for 10 years. Never made much money at it, but it seemed like the right thing to do. 3 years ago, in the mortgage crisis, her job fell apart, and she had no work. We didn't need the money, so I encouraged her to volunteer. I have an okay house in an okay neighborhood. Not as expensive as most of my peers. My STBX and I each have 10-year-old cars, because why have a car payment if I can avoid it? While others have looked at foreclosure, I didn't, because I waited and put 20% down on my house. I haven't taken extravagant vacations, because I'd rather save the money. The last big pure family vacation we took was 10 years ago. Other than that, it's been mostly youth sports tournaments that the kids wanted to do and camping, motel driving trips. I've got a pretty good nest egg built up for the kids for college, and to be well on the way to a comfortable retirement. All that said, 5 months ago, she walked out. Didn't know what she wanted to do with her life, but whatever it is, I won't be a part of it. Now, I'm looking at half that savings, retirement going away, and giving her monthly maintenance, since she's accustomed to a standard of living. My kids are a mess, especially the 16-year-old, who, on the bright side, sarcasm, probably won't ever need college money. Lawyers' fees are a more likely need in the long run. The 14-year-old is a high achiever, but emotionally disconnected from everyone. She holds it all inside, even in therapy. So, I'm left with a job I hate, coming home to an empty house, except for 2 kids, one of whom hates me, and the other who is detached. I've got nothing to show for my life, not even great memories, which have been tarnished in my mind. So, why play by the rules? Why not drive a fancy car and take resort vacations and buy steak instead of hamburger and save nothing? Why keep living for tomorrow? To quote Groundhog Day, what if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today. As I type that, tears are rolling down my face. I've always lived for tomorrow. Mine or my kids, and it looks like none of those tomorrows will be there. I have a cousin who perpetually spends above his means. They always need to borrow from his parents, who can afford it. I've always thought poorly about him for it. But now, I'm thinking that he's been right, and I've been wrong. What the heck does it mean? And why be the ant? The grasshoppers seem to have all the fun, and the ants just get squished. But whatever, I just reread this post and I know it probably sounds like a spoiled rich guy. I'm not rich, by any measurement, but I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I know that most people are facing huge financial stresses and are probably rolling their eyes at my issues. I have a job and I have a house, and I know that there are a lot of people struggling for both of those. I'm not looking for sympathy or pity. I'm just having an existential crisis about the meaning of my life and trying to figure out what it all means. We never had any arguments over money. I think we were on the same page. In fact, she's kind of moved toward a monk's life. She now spends her time reading spiritual books, mostly New Age, Buddhist. She won't watch TV or go to movies because she believes that athletes, actors, etc. don't give back enough to society. She used to. She liked Idol and 24 and all the pop culture icons. I'm not particularly into material things, but she has gone even more extreme in that direction. I also don't want to leave the impression that we never spent money on anything. But we tended toward the practical rather than the luxurious. I don't go hungry, but I do eat store brands rather than brand names, all else equal. For example, we live out west, and our kids have never seen New York City. I want to take them there when school gets out this summer. My 14-year-old is taking a school trip to DC over spring break. Her family, my family, we're all confused about it. We've used the phrase midlife crisis a lot, but I'm not sure that entirely captures it. She had a good girlfriend with cancer that she had been nursing for a while. That friend passed last summer. There's an older daughter that I left out of the post to avoid mucking it up. That daughter is 28, with 3 kids of her own, and is her natural and my stepdaughter. She's as supportive of me and confused about my STBX's behavior as anyone. She moved out of state 4 years ago. We suspect that there's depression involved for my STBX. We've all asked her to talk to a doctor about that. Not sure if she ever did, but I doubt it, and there's nothing we can do to force it. I do think that she carries some guilt for a world full of problems. I know that when her friend passed, she felt angry and powerless over a healthcare finance system that wouldn't cover her without putting her family into poverty. The friend had no insurance. I know that all of this comes into play. In terms of the pending D, I'm frustrated by it, but not angry at her. I'm more worried about her long-term health. I'm frustrated that the D makes us all less financially secure, but that's not what drives me. I'm not blaming my pending D on money, and I'm not complaining that the D will result in less money. I'm questioning whether my whole value system about money and responsibility makes sense, because it feels like living irresponsibly seems to lead to happier results than living responsibly. We've been married a long time, so the expectation is that I need to help her support herself to a certain lifestyle. One of the assumptions is that she can get a job at some low level of income, and that I need to make up the difference in her needs. Since we were married a long time, I expect to make up that money for a long time. She left the house, leaving the kids with me. So, I don't expect to pay her any child support, and her share of child support will probably reduce what I owe her for maintenance. The kids don't hate me, well, not because of this. I've had conflicts with the 16-year-old for a long time because of his behaviors. Even her older daughter, my step, is on my side in all of this. But I've been very careful to present her issues in the most sympathetic light to the kids. Since she left, we've done a few sessions of FC, along with MC and IC. The MC is not productive, because she is not willing to work on the marriage. It's over, from her perspective. On the cult issue, I don't know how to answer that. She has been involved in an organization for a long time called the Church of Religious Science. This isn't Scientology, although the names are close. The church in town has a large facility and several thousand attendees each Sunday. From what I have been able to determine, it's not a cult. From what I get, it's somewhat similar to Unitarians, in that it takes from many religious traditions. It seems to be primarily, but loosely, Christian. But it is definitely New Age. I've attended a few services, and never saw or heard anything that set off alarm bells. I'm not a very spiritual person, so the services have never done much for me. She became much more involved when her friend was ill, and that commitment has remained. I offered several times over the year before she left that we needed MC, and I would be willing to do it through her church. She never took me up on the offer. I think she had already emotionally left the marriage by then. I talked with Dee last night. She seemed absolutely and genuinely puzzled by the notion that she was sabotaging her grades in order to be placed lower in HS classes. She is still excited about the advanced classes that she is in line for, but a little nervous about time management in HS. I'm working with her on that balancing act. Since W left, Dee has been latchkey, and she acknowledged that she hasn't been self-disciplined in doing her homework by herself. She and I committed to each other that we would review her work each night when I get home, before TV or games. I'm pretty sure the teachers are aware of our domestic situation, but I'll send an email to her advisor to make sure she knows. The teachers recommended that Dee goes to some before and after school office hours that they run. Need to coordinate with the neighbor who drives Dee to and from school. We live 3 miles from school, but it's not our home school, so there's no bus service available. Neighbor has driven Dee for 2 years. We've got a therapist who has done IC for me, MC with me and W, and FC with various combinations of our family. Dee hates counseling and wouldn't be open to going to her own. The only way I've been able to get her to go with me was to posture it as I'm working on me, and having your perspective there would really help me. Her favorite activity is competitive soccer. Her first spring game is next Saturday, 8 days from now, for a kick in the pants. A couple of days ago, I told her that she needs to bring up her failing grades substantially, or she won't play that game. That seemed to get her attention. I'm playing good cop and bad cop at the same time. Nurturing dad who she can talk with and disciplinarian dad. I'm hoping the combination will help. He's living with her sister across town, no intention of ever returning. Still helps out with logistics with the kids, 14D and 16S. I've been slowly changing the house to make it mine, not ours. The basement has our stuff, my parents' stuff. My dad passed away 11 years ago. My mom lives in a small apartment. My brother's stuff. He moved to England, and we took his stuff to store. My W's grandparents' stuff, old 8-track tapes, records, etc. that no one wanted to pitch. You get the picture. So, my daughter and I were working on the basement yesterday, organizing and throwing away those things with no emotional attachment for anyone. We were going through boxes and boxes of pics from when the kids were little. I had a few moments of tearful rage at expectations dashed when Dee wasn't around, and a few moments of exuberance at moving forward. Weird emotional day. A month later, I'm traveling on business. One of my peers picked us up at the airport in his new sports car. Listening to him talk about the features of the car, the specs, the way it drives, etc. It was clear this was his dream vehicle, and he was passionate about it. Then, we spent the evening on the boat of another peer. The excitement he felt to share his joy in boating with us, I'm from a landlocked state, was nearly tangible. He was passionate about it. Neither of these guys are supporting their passions by taking away from their kids. Both coach their kids in different sports, and the boater got the boat last year as a way to keep bonding with his kids as they get to high school age. So, it got me thinking, if I had an extra 100,000 extra, whatever, and I had to spend it on me, couldn't save it, spend it on the kids, or pay down existing obligations, what would I spend it on? I was stumped. I couldn't really come up with anything. Maybe some travel, but even that didn't seem right. And even when I think about my lottery fantasies over the years, the thoughts were about sharing with siblings and the kids, building a hockey rink for my son so he could play whenever he wanted. For example, I think it comes down to 2 things. First, I've lost myself. I have no personal passion anymore. There's nothing that I really love doing, other than watching the kids do their things. Second, I don't think I give myself permission to please myself. I don't feel worthy to spend the money on me. STBX walked away 8 months ago. That relationship is almost certainly over. I'm going to work on me now. Maybe she'll see changes in me and will like them. If so, maybe we can start trying again. But either way, that's not what I'm working toward now. I'm working to build the rest of my life. If that happens to include her, that would be a plus. But I seriously doubt that it will happen. She went through a spiritual awakening as she was leaving. She's never shown any interest in money or possessions over the past year, other than a nominal amount that I gave her each month while we were sorting things out. In December, she decided she didn't want to save the marriage. She was done. I closed all joint credit cards and bank accounts and essentially severed all financial commingling. For another couple of months, I helped her with her expenses. Since then, there has been no money changing hands. She got a job and has been paying her own bills. From the house, she has taken her clothes and left virtually everything else with the instructions to give it away or throw it away. So, we met yesterday, at my request, to see if we could get a broad outline of an agreement before bringing lawyers into the picture. I've never seen her as such a lost little girl, and not in an attractive way, or in a way that would make me want to help her. She assumed that someone else would decide everything, and that she doesn't need to make any decisions. A couple of examples. Money. W. Don't we just put down everything we have, and the judge decides how we divide it? Me. The only way that happens is if we can't decide. Your lawyer writes a brief, my lawyer writes a brief, a judge decides, and between us, we lose $30,000 for the process. Kids, 16 and 14. W. Well, can't we both be the final decision makers? Me. What if we don't agree? W. Then the kids can decide. Me. We are the parents. They are kids. They have input, but don't get to decide the big issues. At the end of the day, I'm going to write up what I propose, she'll review, and if we're close, I'll have a lawyer write it up and she'll have a lawyer review. But the really frustrating thing is that I know this is going to cost me more in legal fees because she's too wimpy or disinterested to take charge of her life. I know she's going to end up with a lawyer who will manipulate her into changes, just to run up a bill. And I'll need to do the same. I'm holding up, but the kids are a mess. The 16, almost 17-year-old boy has had issues for years, many of which have come from inconsistent parenting messages. He is essentially living at a friend's in the neighborhood during the summer because he's a pothead who steals from me. I told him at the beginning of the summer he has to get a job, and there's no way he's getting up at 6:30 for me, so he has made other arrangements. He has too many enablers in his life, including his mother, and I'm not going to be that anymore. His issues were both triggers to the walk-away wife and made much worse by his parents' inability to parent coherently. The 14-year-old is spending the summer with her 28-year-old sister 1,000 miles away. Big Sis has a big family with her virtual husband, 3 little kids, live-in mother-in-law and live-in sister-in-law and her partner, all living in one very nice, very spacious, but very chaotic house. The 14-year-old feels connected to a family there, the family she lost here. Summer there is a very, very good thing for her. I'm using the quiet time to get the house ship-shape, get my head ship-shape, get my body ship-shape, get my job ship-shape, and to work on getting a social life that doesn't revolve around my wife or my kids. A month later, I finally got off my fat behind and met with my lawyer on Monday. My lawyer filed with the court today. Barring any hiccups, the divorce should be final in late November. I really don't have any emotions about it at all, except some melancholy. I gave the petition to my STBXW this afternoon, so she could waive service, and she seemed something close to giddy. Jesus, I don't expect you to break down in hysterics, but could you at least pretend to be marginally less than thrilled that our 17-year marriage is approaching the end? She very openly left, and she, both families, our friends, everyone, knows that she was the one who walked out on the relationship. She just wasn't motivated by the legal stuff, never was. She might have a secret other man, but it doesn't matter to her whether the law says she's married or divorced. She probably had a financial incentive to stay married, since the marital assets would keep growing until we file. So, I'm just peeved that she is so peaceful about the whole thing. That she threw away a lifetime, destroyed her kid's stability, and didn't even want to take a shot at fixing it, all without any signs of regret at all. My comment, she got what she wanted. Now it's your fault. Or maybe, it was kind of a holy crap moment for her. You know that nervous kind of laughter you can get when you are caught off guard. Story 2. I have a long-term partner that I have stood by through very serious issues and who I believed I would be spending my life with. Turns out that I'm in a position where I am questioning if I'm the only one that was actually committed to our relationship and believed in those little things called love, loyalty, and commitment. Finding out about an online dating profile prominently featuring his photos has been an awesome gift to get. Not surprisingly, I want to take it back and exchange it for something that doesn't suck so bad and hurt so much. I love my partner. I wouldn't have stuck by him through the hellish past few years when everything and anything did go wrong. I want to believe him when he tells me that it isn't him and that he has no clue what is going on. I want to believe that he loves me. I want to trust him so badly it is screwing with my head. I found out less than 3 days ago and I am up, down, and all around. I swing between trusting him and staring at what is pretty much a huge red flag with sirens. whistles, and flashing lights, maybe even a flash dance mob. I confronted him over the dating profile, found by a single friend that was approached by the profile, and she then showed it to me, and he denies it as him and that he has no explanation for it. His best idea is that someone has hacked his old profile to catfish people since. It is the old dating profile and the pics are the same ones that were on it when we first met. Whatever, that was a long time ago and I don't recognize all the photos even if they are old. The profile approached one of my friends, and why would he do that? I don't think he'd recognize this friend of mine if he met her in person, much less saw a pic on a dating site. He has written emails to the dating site demanding the profile be deleted and reported it to whichever other agency is available for fraud and identity theft. He was angry with me for not trusting him and for taking this profile seriously. Then he was kind, gentle, and saying that he didn't blame me for being upset because this certainly appears as if he is cheating and that he will work with me to get past this, to do what he can to prove it's not him and to remain in our relationship because he loves me and wants to spend his life me with. Then I get angry and he flares up and says that I need to stop accusing him and acting like I don't have faith in him. In other words, he is angry that I am so quick to believe he is cheating and not giving him the benefit of the doubt when he is doing what he can to prove this profile is no longer under his control. I have been cheated on in the past by a long-term ex and I walked. No hesitation, no regrets, and no entertaining the idea of reconciliation. The relationship was broken, trust was lost, and I wouldn't play the fool for any longer. I went to counseling. I learned to communicate better, listen to my partner, and temperature test the relationship on a gentle but regular basis. I thought I had found someone that had the same values as me when I met my current partner. But in this current situation, I just don't know what to think. I didn't find any apps on his phone or incriminating text directly linking him to this. This is a situation where an active dating profile that was approaching women as late as Saturday night has his photos and the same old lines that attracted me back in the day. None of this makes sense to me. I never thought he was capable of cheating. He's such a blunt person, to the point of being so honest that it can sometimes be hurtful. He is not afraid to leave relationships if they aren't working for him, as demonstrated by his past. But reading things online shows me that I have been fooled by a cheater. I really just don't understand and I am so confused. I wish I could laugh it off and just trust him. I want to. I really want to. I've had no reason to doubt him, but now I'm staring at an active dating profile wanting to get in touch with people and with the privacy settings set to max so that only people approached by the profile can view it or find it on the site. Why would a catfish go to that trouble? I just can't wrap my head around it, and I read about Trickle Truth and I wonder if I'm just the biggest chump in the world and looking for any reason to ignore this because I love him so much. And I also worry that he is telling me the truth and that someone has hijacked the old profile, and that I am not trusting him and behaving like an emotional tornado, destroying our relationship with my insecurities. I'd be deeply hurt if he didn't trust me and accused me of cheating and found a profile with my photos which I didn't know about. Honestly, what can I do in this situation? Break up what I have always thought and felt was a wonderful partnership because of an active dating profile. Work past my doubts and insecurities with him to find out that ultimately we are a good match, or find out that he's just been gaslighting me and a lying cheat for years. Both courses of action seem so sucky and fraught with pain. I love this man with all my heart. Up until the weekend, I had no reason to doubt him. Now I'm just a mess. What can I do to try to make this situation better, clearer right now? Or at least get it into the healthiest place possible so that we can be adults and find a way forward with the least amount of damage to each other? What can I do to give us the best chance to survive this? What can I do if this relationship has just gone spectacularly belly up? This is really painful. At times he is great and supportive, understanding of my emotional upheavals. Other times he is just angry I don't trust him and that there is nothing more he can do about this situation than wait for responses to his email and proceed from there. In fact, he just ranted at me very angrily via text over this. I feel like a fool with a brain full of cotton wool. All my friends know about his dating profile and expect that we have naturally broken up. I haven't done that yet. I'm trying to work through it, but now I get the added bonus of exposure of the cheater, and if he hasn't cheated, then this is a horrible situation because he's now always going to feel that he's been labeled that, at least with my friends and family. I keep thinking what other evidence there could be, but I honestly can't think of anything concrete. But the problem is that I am now thinking of every time he was late or canceled on me as having the potential for him to be dating others, looking at everything through the sudden fog of suspicion. There is no physical evidence, only stuff that could be equally innocent or damning. I was trusting in him working late. Unexpected stuff coming up was just that. Working late or unexpected stuff coming up. After our angry exchange, him angry, me trying to stand my ground and expressing how difficult this is for both of us and how sorry I am that he is feeling like I don't trust him because I want to trust him more than anything. I asked if I could call him tonight. I am staying away right now, and he is ignoring me. Yep, I am an emotional tornado, and the more I try to lean on him to help me through this madness, the more I feel like he sometimes has the patience and other times just doesn't understand how confusing this is for me. I want to trust him so much, but I am literally holding a picture of an active dating profile in my hand with his pictures all over it and the correct details, etc. How do you just accept the profile is a lie on the basis of his word alone? It's not exactly like I am misinterpreting an ambiguous text. This is a dating profile actively approaching other women. He just can't believe how seriously I am taking this dating profile, that he doesn't even know what it is, and it deeply offends him. I don't understand how he can be so relaxed about it. If I discovered that a dating site had a profile with my pictures all over it and he was upset about it, I'd be falling over myself to prove it wasn't me, try to make him feel better and do whatever I could to reassure him that I loved him. But I guess that it's my personality and not so much his. He just seems so angry that I don't trust him and can't get past this in less than 3 days, which makes me suspicious and feels like he just wants to rug sweep the matter with me never saying a word about it again. But that could just be the paranoid part of my brain going into overdrive. And you know what? I also can understand his point of view. I can understand that if he didn't set up the profile, then this would be confusing to him, and my going on and on about it just shows how little I trust him and how willing I am to believe in such a bad character trait of him. On top of that, he knows that everyone now thinks he is a cheater. How awful is that if you haven't done anything wrong? It's unfair and it would piss me off too. I'd also feel like my partner was throwing me under the bus so easily that how could I trust them if they doubted me all the time? And there I go, getting on the merry-go-round of confusion. He says it wasn't him. But could the simplest explanation be that he is shopping around? I called him before I logged on and read everything here. It was a very short call, a few minutes. He was short, cold, and had no desire to talk. I ended the call quickly and pretty much accepted that my years of love and effort were going down in flames and my confusion and inability to control my emotions were making a bad situation worse. I am going to just step back, take care of myself and see what unfolds. Perhaps it's passive, but I need to get control over my emotion. Follow the advice I've been given and just start to accept what's happened and decide what I want to do. Trying to work together with my partner is just pissing him off, making things worse and adding extra strain, which is hurting and confusing me more. I need to move away from this and take some space to breathe and think. He probably also needs that space given how I've been acting. He just called, even shorter than the last call, divided by confirmed he'd received an email from the website which informed him that the account had been investigated and had been deleted as a result. He's forwarding all the emails to me again. I thanked him for calling to tell me. He confirmed he'd forward the emails to me. I thanked him again and wished him a good night, then hung up. He still seemed so short and angry with me, but at least he called to tell me, right. I can't do a picture search because I do not have access to the actual photos. I just took photos of the profile as it appeared on my friend's account, as the profile had the highest level of privacy settings and cannot be viewed by any profile which was not directly approached by it. I have gotten all the emails confirming that the security and privacy section of the site had checked it out and deleted the profile. I did ask him why he didn't appear worried that someone had engaged in identity theft with him and what this person could be doing, approaching work as colleagues and just basically undermining his credibility. He said that of course he was worried and it was a huge reason why he wanted this sorted out. He is very angry at me right now. He can barely say 2 words to me without it sounding like he is gritting his teeth. I have left him completely alone since he called me very briefly last night. It's an awful feeling like I may have betrayed him with my lack of trust. I try hard not to project my past experiences on my previous cheating partner on him. I am very concerned about that possibility, which is why I posted here, to see if I was just acting mad and overly paranoid. It's a completely different situation I am currently faced with to what I experienced with my ex. Here I have a dating profile discovered by a friend. I wasn't even snooping or checking or verifying because I trusted my partner so much it never even occurred to me, despite having been cheated on in the past. And in my previous relationship I got back unexpectedly a day early and came home to find him, in the most delicate terms, in deeply intimate activities with his other woman. I left. It hurt like hell to walk away, but what was there to save? I couldn't unsee it, and let's be honest, it's not an ambiguous situation where there is a possibility that cheating wasn't actually taking place. It tortured me, so the relationship was dead in the water the instant I walked out the front door in a very calm, although I am pretty sure now that calmness was a result of shock, manner. I don't regret leaving the relationship. It wasn't easy because we had been together a while, although less time than now, and it was the most painful thing I had endured at that point in my life. But regret leaving? No, I regret not talking more in the relationship and temperature testing what was going on. I made mistakes in that relationship, to be sure, but I didn't cheat. My ex did, and that is on him. And right now, I am faced with the possibility of losing a partner that I will confess I love a lot more than I loved my ex. This is based on who he is, what we have gone through, and the real way I have viewed him as an integral part of my future, for the entirety of what life remains in me. The very real potential of losing that. Either he walks because I don't trust him, or there is actual cheating taking place and no way to reconcile, so I walk, makes me feel very scared. I'm already in a lot of pain and I want to make things better. I am desperate to believe him. I am desperate to trust him because I have not doubted the faith and trust I had in him except for now, and it throws me. I am digging deep as to why I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt at the first instance and just became an emotional tornado. That is clearly my issue, and I should have been calm, regardless of whether it was a dating profile or him getting it on with my best friend. Calmness would have saved my dignity and let me think much more clearly rather than react. I googled my girlfriend accused me of cheating when I didn't, and most of the replies are always to leave the crazy chick because she doesn't trust you. Awesome. I don't feel crazy for being upset over an active dating profile with my partner's pics. It feels like I should question it, not just stare at it and say cool. It's not him because I love and trust him, and he'd never do that to me while staring down at a picture of his face. Admittedly, I definitely should have taken some time to cool off and think about it before I approached him rather than calling straight away in an emotional upheaval asking why he had an active dating profile. I deeply regret that lack of faith, and I think that we would have had a much more productive conversation if I had been calmer. I most definitely should have approached it more logically and let him know that I had been shown an active dating profile, which appeared to be him, and that I would like an explanation. I see that now that I have calmed down and really thought about things. However, it looks like the damage is done, and I think it is likely that my partner will walk away after this. Odds are good he cheated or was at least looking to cheat. I don't believe in coincidences either. A very private profile sounds like someone wants to hide. His anger makes me suspicious because I wouldn't be angry at my partner, at least not straight away unless they kept harping on at me, and because an angry and defensive attitude rather than a confused one doesn't make sense. Someone has taken your identity and could be doing anything with it. I'd be downright alarmed and doing what I could to clear it up. It could be possible that he was catfished and that my immediate emotional crapfest accusing him of having an online dating profile just set his back up and he met my anger with anger of his own. Entirely possible, given that in the past if I have gotten angry, he has normally responded to my anger. When I calm down, he tends to remain angry. It takes him a bit longer than me to calm down, and if I approach a situation calmly, then it is very rare that he gets angry. I know this about him, but I still ran in guns blazing. So, I really didn't handle this situation cleverly at all. I made every tactical mistake and let him see my hand before I had a chance to think and prepare. It significantly contributed to the confusing place I find myself in now. I wish I had not called him the first night but planned things out. I cannot stress it enough how important it is to calm down and think before you confront. I could have gotten a lot more answers and had a lot more information to make my decision on this. I just don't feel anything genuine from him. Why would he be blaming me for finding an active dating profile? Why would he be so angry that I keep questioning him? It makes no sense unless he was just so pissed off that I found out. Even getting the account deleted seemed to piss him off. Why? Because I ruined his fun. There really isn't any other reasonable explanation. No matter how much I love him, I can't do this. I can't turn a blind eye and hope that he's not cheating. I'm just not built that way, and this has been torturing me the last few days. The only logical way forward is to go through the pain and have hope that I will eventually find someone else that won't put me through this. I can't live in a relationship wondering when or if the other shoe will drop. So, I have to be done. And I am so angry. It burns like nothing else. This man would be seriously effed if I hadn't stood by him, but he has placed no value in that or in me. I can do better. I deserve better. Right now, I am trying very hard not to imagine him dating others and putting in romantic effort with them that he couldn't be bothered to put into us. That hurts so much after what we went through. I feel like I got to stand by his side through the very worst years of his life, and the instant the sun comes out he goes running and dancing to other women. Women that never had to go through the crap storm with him like I did. That makes me so angry that I got the very worst so that he could give the very best to another woman. No, I hope the karma bus hits him and then backs up a few times just to be sure. I took a short trip. I'm still in complete NC. I want to reach out to him, but I stop myself every time and just scream at him in my head. He hasn't reached out to me either, so what a loving and caring guy. I feel betrayed, sad, angry, desperate, pathetic, stupid, numb, and the worst thing, like somehow I'm not good enough, which is just awful since I'm the one that stood by him through everything and had integrity. It would have been easier for me to leave, but I stayed, loved, and gave my all to this relation. Crap, how is it fair that I now get all the pain and confusion? 9 days ago, we booked a big trip away in 3 months. 8 days ago, I found out he was looking for a new partner. What a mind duck. More money I put into a man and relation crap than never deserved me. It's infuriating that I walk away with nothing except wasted years, a broken heart, and less money. He walks away in a much better position to when I met him. That pisses me off like nothing else. He destroyed it, so why does he win? I felt a bit better today, buying new appliances and just imagining myself in a loving relationship with someone that adores me and only me. It sucks to start over, but maybe it's just the perfect timing and I won't know it until later. A girl can dream, right? I'm still so angry. He lied to me and now I think the guilt and need to buy stuff to make it up to me has hit him. I'm still NC. It hurts, and when his name pops up my heart starts beating hard. I wish I was so far over this. I wish I wasn't so raw. I wish he hadn't disappointed me. I really thought he was a better man. It sucks to realize what a disrespectful, lying, spoiled, selfish, entitled coward he really is. I can do better and I am much better than him. He's the fool that couldn't see what he's lost. My comment, as the saying goes, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Did you guys enjoy these ones on Thanksgiving? Is it encouraging? Sub and check out the older videos while I prepare something for tomorrow.